back to right here at SportsGrid's coverage of the NCAA tournament. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young, and Donnie Rightside with you here on a Thursday night, night one of this tournament. If you like this crew, we're back tomorrow, same time, making it happen. If you don't like us and you're still watching,
here anyway.
You know what? I mean, we will be here, so just keep on doing what you're doing, and we appreciate you sticking through it. Let's make it happen here. Coach, I'll throw to you. 4 games live right now. Which one are you paying most attention to?
Colorado State, they got a good shot first possession. They got into the zone, got it down, a little turnover, but they are still struggling with the athleticism. And me, interesting play with Kentucky. They called a foul, a shooting foul, fouled and one, but then when the free throw, they said 2 shots. So it was a mistake by the official.
Okay.
And then what happened was this Kentucky guy got the rebound and hit it back to the official thinking it's 2 shots. Well, it's a referee error. Doesn't matter. It hit the ball out of bounds. Get the ball back. So it's a big sequence here for a Kentucky team that's playing a little bit better, and they're forcing some bad shots by Oakland. Let's see if they can sort of make a run, maybe have the lead at a break.
Donnie?
Yeah, taking a look here at that Gonzaga game, 18-12. Got a really good flow in this one, so enjoying this one so far. About 12:30 left to go in the first half. 18-12 there as it sets up. Current live lines here. Gonzaga, a minus 10.5-point favorite in a total of 157.5. And take a look there at Colorado State, 15 points here, down 14. If the game ended right now, we'd be winners here with plus 15.5, but there's a long way to go in that game. But it's great. We've got the quad box up here, having some fun on a Thursday night as it opens.
Colorado State came out, got fouled, made the first, I believe rebounded the miss on the second, and then Isaiah Stevens hit a 3 for his first points of this game. Those 4 points in a, 0-second window nearly. Obviously, we're massive there. Our radio audience is with us here, Sirius XM, channel 159. We're live across the SportsGrid network with you here. It is Bracket Central with Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, and Coach James Young. What are you looking at here, Donnie?
But I was just going to say, at the half, you always get some of these player props that are very interesting. Isaiah Stevens, obviously the best player on Colorado State. To score 15 or more points, it was plus 750. But I just wanted to bring up that 3-point shot he made. 3 or more 3-point shots made, Kevin, 13-1 price at the half.
Yeah.
He's got 1 knocked down. That'll be interesting to see it. I didn't bet it, but that's a pretty good start right away to drop 1. 2 more, catches a 13-1 if he can get there.
Yeah, which would be incredible. I think it does, and I don't know if we'll ever get there, but what does that mean his halftime player prop would have been? 6.5, 7.5, not much higher than that.
Yeah, and the funny part is, I don't think they actually offered that. I think they just had the
I'm saying
that one prop. No, I know what you're saying,
yeah.
if you just said that, and I said to myself, boy, if there's a number of 6.5, I think we would have jumped on that at the break willingly. But
knowing he's going to keep the volume going, right, and because he has to. He is still the engine of this team. He leads them in scoring, leads them in passing, and that's kind of the thing, JY, especially at the mid-major level, when you have a guy like this, right? And Isaiah Stevens is Colorado State's guy. An off night, that's how you get what is still a top 50 offense to score 11 first-half points. He was 0 of 8 in the first half.
Yeah, and you need your best player to show up as a mid-major because there's usually a talent discrepancy after that top guy. So to me, that's you got to find a way to get him shots, whether it's a ball screen, pull-up game, something in which early offense, something that can kind of get going a little bit. So 29-17, we all jumped in, at least Donnie and I did, plus 15.5. So now, better start. I mean, hey, guys, 2 for 4 in the second half. Stop the madness. They're hot like fish grease.
Yeah, they sure are. Texas was sat there on 2 points in the half for a bit. Glad to see them pull off a nice little lob play there to take them up to 31 total. I played them over 63.5 for a team total. Still a ways to go, but, man, we talk about this, DRS with baseball team totals.
Yeah.
It is never more true than in a college basketball team total. Let's get that running mate here. Let's see CSU keep this thing close. Make sure the foul game is intact a little bit later on so we can steal a couple if we need a couple, and that is obviously important. Of the 4 that are on right now, I'm finding it most difficult, at least just to, for the Gonzaga game to grab me. Not, we're just keeping up with what we can here, but at no point it feels like if I looked up with Gonzaga doing anything other than just being in control, being at distance here, right? I haven't seen that, big McNeese State play, and maybe that's it. That little
nice
one, right there. But this is, man, it's incredible to me because it's technically a mid-major against a mid-major. It won't be true next year, I believe, right, if Gonzaga does enter the Big 12. but this is the cream of the crop. This is the pinnacle of what you can do as a mid-major in Gonzaga basketball. And, it's a McNeese State team that's probably hoping to have staying power. It depends if Will Wade is going to take this job and stay with this job, or if Will Wade is going to take the successful season and grab a Louisville job or something like that.
Yeah, it makes some sense for that, too, because he did do it on the big stage, not necessarily cutting down the nets, but he was a quality coach at LSU when you weren't allowed to give players the bag. Now you can give players the bag. He's probably going to be absolutely incredible as a head coach once he gets a high major job again. If we're flowing through, by the way, San Diego State, 25-19 now, Kevin, is what I'm seeing on an update here. South Dakota State, excuse me. 146.5 is the total in that game, but you want that running mate to come back with Iowa State. The worst-case scenario would have been 15-point lead by Iowa State, and they just say, hey, look, it's going to stiff-arm you the rest of the way. So you're getting it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Iowa State team, JY, how do you feel about them, big picture? I think the bottom of that bracket got some help with BYU going down. Again, I know that probably sounds silly to say because they just lost to Duquesne. How dangerous were they? But BYU has a very high ceiling. So they could have eliminated an Illinois. They could have eliminated an Iowa State if they met that ceiling on that day. How do you feel about the Cyclones making a run in this tournament?
I think this I'm looking for. I know there's some 16 matchups that I would like to see. One of them is going to be Illinois versus Iowa State. Two contrasting styles, right? I want to see Terrence Shannon Jr. getting bottled up by these Iowa State guards. I want to see TJ load up the defense. So to me, that is an interesting way to look at it. And it's a really, to me, Iowa State, listen, I think they got hosed. I thought they should have been a 1 or at least a better 2. But to me, they have a good path with it. Now that obviously a team like BYU, who can shoot the ball really well, is out. Now it's Duquesne, Illinois. They look pretty good, but the game that ends tonight, that Washington State Drake game is still going to be also interesting as well because Drake's pretty tough. I think that could possibly give Iowa State some problems.
By the way, just with the Iowa State should be a one thing. As I was listing the teams out, by automatic bids and then the at-large bids. There's 6 major conferences, right? So the non-top team winners were Oregon and NC State. And literally the other 4 are all in the same region.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's talked about this to death, but I'm going to bring it up a few more times.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the conference tournament is a week of hoop. But how do you put all of them in the same? And I don't know if that's Iowa State needed to be a 1 or Auburn needed to be a 3 or Illinois needed to be a 2. They all felt underseeded, right?
Yeah.
That is the thing. And what's incredible is that's all true. And the number 1 overall seed, it wasn't a situation where they said, no, like Purdue's out of conference mattered or Houston's domination mattered. The number 1 overall seed is at the top.
Yeah.
Just, again, the committee looked like they closed their eyes with a lot of this, but you already know that. We'll be right back here with more Bracket Central on SportsGrid, first round of the NCAA tournament.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West Half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live, Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live, Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, as well as Coach James Young. Texas up 35-21 on Colorado State. You know, this game being low scoring is inevitable because of the first half. But the second half being low scoring is up in the air. That live total, 73.5, and this isn't how this stuff works, but you know, if you play it on the twos, 73, you know, that's about 47. A lot of points. So this half has to pick up at some point. Maybe that Colorado State right before the break, Coach, is it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Colorado State's starting to settle in a little bit. They got the lead down to 11. They've knocked down some shots. So, to me, Colorado State is more about can they get stops defensively. They look better offensively this half, but it seems like you can't get stops. When you're a coach and you're in this situation, you know, we play a couple of games you used to play all the time in practice. You know, shout out to Trish Fabry, the head coach of Quinnipiac that taught me this. One of them is called score, stop, score, where you play up and down, where you get a score, get a stop, get a score. The problem with Colorado State is they get a score, they don't get a stop.
Yeah.
You know, so they're trading. So at some point, you have to do a better job of getting stops and getting consecutive stops, Kevin. They got it down to 11. They're playing better offensively. The question is, can Colorado State get enough stops? Because Texas is still really getting whatever they want offensively in regards to getting quality shots.
Yeah, they got to knock them down, though, because
Yeah.
that team total is not necessarily on pace here, Donnie. The live numbers is 11.5. Live total is 106.5.
CLV right there. That 106.5 is interesting as it's 35-24. Maybe Colorado State can get hot here, getting the game a little bit closer. Timeout called for Texas to try to regroup here. Other things across there, Kevin. Gonzaga, McNeese State, 28-17, now an 11-point lead for Gonzaga. And once again, a team that doesn't love to shoot a ton of three-point shots, Kevin. Gonzaga, 6 of 7 from three-point range to open this game up. If you're getting live looks, if you're getting open looks, and you're knocking them down, you'll be dangerous. It looks like Gonzaga put their three-point shooting on tonight, and that's on display.
I just still don't. Man, Gonzaga had a very rocky start to their season, right? And that, you know, it's real and it happened, and it's a part of the math.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, they had this 1-point loss at Santa Clara, and then they lost to UW, and everybody's like, oh, my goodness. From that point on, they had 5 losses. 2 to St. Mary's, right? The San Diego State loss, UConn, and Purdue. They were a 14-2 basketball team through their last 16 games. They thrashed St. Mary's in their own building. They beat up the Dons multiple times and won at Rupp, which is still, I mean, they went into that game and a lot of people felt like their season was on the line.
Yeah.
Because going into that game, the conversation was, If they don't win this, they're not getting in the tournament without the auto bid, which they ultimately didn't get. They didn't need. They're a 5. But I sometimes wonder if that conversation that we were having, and we were having it for a good reason, is still stuck with people here. They are on the 5 line for a reason. Their offense has completely found its level. Coach, the questions of, hey, how does Nemhard fit? Obviously, the younger Nemhard. How does Graham Ike work for this team?
Yeah.
Graham Ike had a 7-point run at the back of the conference play of 20-plus point games. This is a really good basketball team in Gonzaga.
Yeah, and they're playing well. With 28 points, obviously, just the under 8 timeout. So to them, they're playing and they're getting the shots they want to. I mean, East State is also struggling with the size of Gonzaga. I think that's something that we kind of neglected to talk about enough. So
sure,
it's definitely a good start. If you're Will Wade right now, it's an 11-point game. You're probably saying to your team, guys, we got to be within, let's say, 6 or 7 at the break. That's another 3 for Colorado State.
Yeah,
they're starting to fight. Now, we talked about score, stop, score. Now they're slowly getting stops here and there. And really quick, 38-35, Oakland over Kentucky.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
At the half. And the line right now that I'm seeing is 5.5 for Kentucky. I may sit here, and I may see if Oakland gets a quick deuce or 4 points to begin the second half, Donnie.
Yeah.
Maybe get Kentucky at 2.5, 3.5, and jump on them again. I don't think they lose this game, but they need to start picking it up a little bit.
It's a good point you bring up, too, because when is that price point for Kentucky going to get really advantageous? You might say it is right now at the break at -6.5 here for Kentucky, but I think Coach is right. You actually would like to see Oakland get out, let's just say 43-35, open up that 10-point lead. Then they really start to knock it down to a -2.5, which basically means if Kentucky goes on a run and wins this game, they're going to end up covering there. 156.5 is the live total in that one as we're taking a look at. So that's the intriguing matchup so far. A team that we thought Kentucky probably should be able to put away with Oakland, but more of the points effort here. They got 35. What is their team total right now to break that?
While you pull that up, and look, I know you got to be careful box score watching. We obviously have the game on.
81.5.
Jack Okel off the bench. Now he's the team's third leading scorer. He plays over 30 minutes a game. He factors in 7 of 13 from 3. Scored 21 points. The starting lineup for Oakland has scored 13. Okel, again, has 21. He averages 12.2 points per game. That's going to stop. If books were hanging a live prop on his over 3s, it would be 8.5 with plus money to the over. So what does that mean? This Oakland offense is about to come back to reality. Unless their lead man Townsend picks it up in a major way, who's not finding any success in the interior at 2 for 7. In fact, this team right now, on 2-point shots, is 5 for 18. On 2-point shots. Those are supposed to be easier. That's atrocious. So I might look Kentucky team total because that's a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to consider the spread. But as somebody that does have Kentucky to go to the Sweet 16, I feel very good about where they are. They're -420 on the money line for a reason, and with a lot of good reason, Donnie. I think that Kentucky is in a great spot to roll here.
Yeah, no, and it's the price point is advantageous for you because basically that 6.5 cut down in half from the half. Or excuse me, from the first half of when we started this game.
Yep.
Is Oakland going to continue to score against Kentucky, which is a question mark for me? Because that 156.5 looks decent because if you're expecting Kentucky, whose team total is listed at an 81.5, if Oakland matches up with them, that game should blow over the total. But I don't question Kentucky. I think Kentucky can get around the 80 points. I don't know if Oakland can keep up the same type of pace as they had, scoring 38 in the first half, which is really impressive.
Go ahead, Coach.
And I think one thing is, I looked at this last earlier today with Akron Creighton. I'm a bigger coach. I look at fouls and fouls with starters. You look at Oakland; they got 3 starters with 2 fouls.
Yeah,
right. That is not a good look, especially if you're Cal. If you're Cal, you're saying attack the basket, attack the basket. Those shots aren't going to fall eventually. 9 for 20 from 3. You tie up the 3-point line. Obviously, you look at a guy like Bradshaw, who's only got 1 point, but 3 rebounds. They're out-rebounding him by 1. They're starting to assert their dominance inside. I think this is honestly one Kentucky run away, and I think this game can get ugly in the second half.
Yeah, here's the thing with the team total. It's not that I can't get there, right? But you're talking 46.5 is what that number's listed at. If I told you, hey, Kentucky gets to 70... Let's say they get to 75, right, which would be 40 points. You think they cover the 6.5? You know, can they win that by 7?
You take a look at the FanDuel Sportsbook, an interesting one, though. Cats on the Prowl is one of the bets. Win margin for Kentucky, 1 to 10 points plus 100.
That's interesting.
So because what you're saying is, the 6.5 isn't them overcoming it. 6.5 to cover. I actually like that wager here. 1 to 10 plus 100 as it's listed. The reason why I went back there too is I wanted to see if we had any of those specials worth like players' points there, and I don't see it here. But we do have could we do this, Kev? CBB live threes, 0 threes made in the second half for 4 minutes plus 470. 1, 2, 3. We might have to get involved. 2 threes in the first 4 minutes. Kentucky's got to fire it up, right?
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. I mean,
What?
But
What was the O for?
Well, no, it's just a lot of money. Let's bet all of them. Let's bet every single one of them. For minus 140 down.
I mean, at least he would be on 5 plus 3s. Like, why isn't there 7 plus 3s?
Yeah, exactly. You'd be a little confused.
15 to 1.
Now, see, why are there no player options here?
That's what I was hoping for. I don't see it, though.
I was hoping for some Antonio Reeves. A nice start, 14 points from Reeves there in the first half of that game. So well on pace for the 19.5, which was the pregame wager. We're looking. We're lurking. We're live. Bracket Central right here on SportsGrid. We'll be right back.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drive Drew out here at SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Coach James Young. Decision time here, DRS. What do you want to do with this Kentucky 4-minute window, triples, and 1-3 is minus 800? Like, again, it would lose, but I would bet the plus 550 no for $2 just to say I did it. But obviously we don't hang those in these markets here. What do you think?
Look, it's interesting because if the bets, it's called the pulse here, I guess, on FanDuel. Win margin for Oakland 1-10 is plus 320, and then obviously the win total here the win margin for Kentucky is 1-10. That's a plus 100 number. Will there be OT plus 1,200, and also second half fireworks? The total for the second half 83.5.
80, so many. Wait, 83.5 for the whole. For the whole, right? That's not the Kentucky updated number.
Oakland versus Kentucky second half total itself. I actually like that. I'm gonna bet the Kentucky to win by 1-10. I think it makes sense at a plus 100. I don't know if Kentucky's just going to ice them out in the second half, but I do think they win, and I think Oakland's played well enough here and has some, feeling that, hey, we might be able to hang around. So I just took that. I took Kentucky to win by 1 to 10 points plus 100 here in the second half.
In the first 4 minutes of the half. The teams were 1 of 7 from 3.
Yeah.
Now, the main shooter on Oakland's off the bench, so he won't be out there. But what do you care more about? 1 of 7, the 1 or the 7?
7.
So, what do you want to do?
Let's get involved.
You mean you make the call here. Coach, where are the eyeballs? Colorado State doing anything of note?
No, I'm shooting bricks. I mean, shooting bricks. I've been really impressed, though, with South Dakota State, though, because Iowa State threw a knockout punch early, and they've got this thing down to 7, now 9. So to me, good job by them. If they can get a good shot here, end of the half, be down by 7, 6 to break. If you're their coach, you got to be ecstatic with that, with the way this game started.
You saw that line well over 20 and a half live. I don't remember if it was 22 and a half or 25 and a half, but we saw that line well up there. And if you played that, you're not out of the woods. But you're in a great spot. You made a great bet. Oh, my gosh, Gonzaga's slaughtering this team.
Good.
Gonzaga's slaughtering this team.
Get him.
No, I mean, and now, let me not prematurely do the, how dare anybody doubt Gonzaga thing, but you know what I'll say? Here's what I'll say. McNeese, and to some degree I think, but we'll see how it plays out tomorrow, JMU, check every single box. They got bad draws. Because Gonzaga and Mark Few are here every single year. And if you're McNeese, when you're there and you're trying to upset someone, you're hoping it's somebody on shaky waters.
Yeah.
You know, this team was a seed line off from getting to play a South Carolina.
Yeah.
Right? Who a lot of people thought could be fraudulent. I know I ultimately put some money on them. That's on me. But the funny thing is, I probably would have picked McNeese to beat South Carolina, and I didn't pick Oregon. So, you look at the other 5 seeds there. San Diego State people are going to be willing to fade, right? St. Mary's, how they match up relatively depends who you ask, right? I know Donnie's high on that team. I'm higher on Gonzaga. It's all relative. But this is 42-20. And here's the other lesson.
8 of 10 from 3.
And listen, that's obviously outlier hot, what Gonzaga's doing.
Yeah.
But here's the other lesson. And I'd like for you to speak to this a bit, Coach. But something that's been getting talked a lot about with McNeese is we've gotten closer to this game. The strength of schedule. It was abysmal. Games against College of Biblical Studies. Playing a Mississippi Southern women's team. It's a school that used to be a women's only school. They haven't updated the name. And, they played more teams that are not Division I basketball teams than teams that were inside the top 100 on KenPom. I mean, that's the reality of it here. So we used to talk about Gonzaga. Why don't they win the title? Well, they're not battle-tested in the WCC, right? And we ultimately know that that's not true because of what they give themselves out of conference. This McNeese team, and especially with how bad the Southland was, they haven't played a real team all season long.
No.
This is their first look, and this is what it looks like when you step up. And that's what it looks like.
And they're getting absolutely boat raced. Boat raced. And to the point where, Kevin, they're not even getting back on defense. I mean, it's like, the three of us, we can get a lamp line and get some points here. Euro step, and it's disheartening if you're Will Wade. Listen, he already burned 2 timeouts in the first half. Like, he had to. This game, I think this game may be too far out of reach. Now, down 22, what are you hoping? Down, 12 at the break. I don't see it. They just look like
you're catching 24.5. The money line's locked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we are.
McNeese, 0 for 8 from three-point range again. Gonzaga, 8 of 10 from three-point range. You just take a look at the field goal percentages, guys. 27% for McNeese, 60% for Gonzaga. That's efficiency, man.
I will say, when we talk about, now again, 8 of 10 is preposterous. They won't do that next game, Gonzaga. But Gonzaga is one of the most efficient offenses in basketball, and they're one of the most consistent teams in the country of late. If Kansas gets knocked off like a lot of people expect.
I got them beating Kansas anyway. Like, I took Gonzaga into the Sweet 16 going up against Purdue. Kansas or no Kansas.
I think the dream scenario was getting this next round because if you're McNeese, you're comfortable playing Samford.
Yes.
In that it's the same level,
yep.
right? You're a bit better. And here, my thing on Kansas, and we can talk about, some of the upcoming games tonight because obviously, we want to let everybody know what we think about those games. Mm-hmm. I think Kansas can win this game tonight. I'm playing under in the game.
Yeah.
It's that I don't think Kansas can win 2 without McCullough in short order.
No.
That's my worry. Because we talk about oh, man, they had all these bad losses without McCullough. They were still playing Big 12 teams.
Yeah.
Right? Stanford isn't a Big 12 team. They're a good team. They're a really good mid-major. Not a Big 12 team. It's about this team then getting set to be back out there in, less than 48 hours, having to do it again without McCullough, coach.
Yeah, and especially the fact that we know Hunter Dickinson's not 100.
Right.
I know they say, you could tape the shoulder up, you can put the sleeve around it, you can lock it in.
Uncomfortable.
You're not comfortable like that, guys. So I think that's a tough thing, especially when you talk about a shoulder injury and a big. Like you're banging, you're hitting, you're attacking the boards. How is that shoulder going to recover after that game? So to me, I think that my concern with Kansas, if they won, is game number 2 in short order. Meanwhile, really quick, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like Colorado State is they're down 7.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had the look, by the way. This live total 98.5, right? Like I whiffed big time.
Yep.
You guys with a great look on that 15.5.
Yeah.
I think
looks good right now.
The one thing I'm thinking about right now is now it's 41-32. Like Colorado State, plus 600 on the money line. Like, can they come Can they come all the way back? Like
overtime?
I think or overtime. I think they can. There's a way they can get there. It's just about, like I said, getting the stops consistently.
Quickly, because I don't want to.
By the way, the Kentucky game, I did take
over
2 3-point shots made in the first 4 minutes was minus 140, so I paid the juice on it. I thought about going to 3, but I wanted to take a little bit safer this, so I did go that way. And then again, I took Kentucky to win this basketball game between 1 to 10 points here, and that was a plus 100, so I'm invested in that as well.
All right, I'm going to join you on the 2+ made 3 wager. We don't want to bother with any of the climbing the ladder stuff.
No, I didn't climb it. I just wanted to take that safe approach here.
No, that makes plenty of sense for me. So we'll get involved with that. I want to bring this up quickly here, right? Just tail of the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State right now laying 14.5 live, minus a gazillion on the money line. They're up 7.
Yes,
but they're shooting 63% from the field and 50% from 3. South Dakota State is shooting 46.5% from the field and 36.5% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't that be more? And it was more for a while. Like, don't I know you trust this team, Donnie, and it's a 2 versus 15.
Yeah.
But the Gonzaga game feels like you can turn it off.
Yes, correct.
And early, the Iowa State game looked like you never needed to turn it on.
Which shows me a lot of mettle from South Dakota State, because you're taking a look at a team that could have just buckled and said, wait, look, we're just not as good as this team, and we'll just play it out. But they look really good here. And from your vantage point, getting 33 out of South Dakota State in the first half is a huge win, specifically when Iowa State, not really an offensive juggernaut, got you to 40. So, yeah, you're right about that. That 13.5, I'm not willing to say right now, like, hey, let me just jump on Iowa State at 13.5. I don't know how that game's going to – I know Iowa State's going to win. I don't know if I want to take that, Coach, up to about 15 points, though. I don't know if I can bet that.
No, I think what I'm so locked in
on
this Colorado State.
Let's go.
Because they keep – I mean, in a questionable call, I don't think you can call a foul there.
I mean, throw a good pass.
Throw a good pass. I mean, listen, Max Asmus.
That's interference.
You want to throw the ball, like, at the ground? Like, how about throw a lob, like a real lob? But to me, interesting enough, also McNeese State, like, 24 – we don't even need to put that game on. I'm waiting for Kentucky to come back on.
My over's in trouble.
thinking, if it is in trouble, you need the shot right here to go down. Okay,
Never mind. This over. This game might have some points in it now.
A lot more shots being made in the second half. But me, I'm also looking at this Kentucky. I want to see something I was thinking about is first to 50. I think if first to 50 is at plus money. If I'm Kentucky, I'm coming out the blocks hot.
Yeah.
Second half. I'm not going to play around. Like maybe race to 50.
What's the number?
I think I saw it at even money or plus money for Kentucky. Race to 50 plus 105.
It's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Because if you figure, like, Cal's going to get after him, they're going to be adjusted to the zone, they're going to get up and down a little bit, and you know Kentucky wants to throw one punch right away.
Sure.
Could that be the punch right there and just get the lead? They're down 3. It's not like they can't outscore them, 10-3 run early on to start the second half.
Oh.
We've got 3 balls. What do we got?
Live player props in this Kentucky game over here on DK.
Uh-oh.
Which is entirely on Jack Kokel. He is plus 400 to break the record for most threes by a player in a single game. So they have opened a lot of stuff. We'll keep breaking it down. We're live right here on SportsGrid Bracket Central.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
coach only has 20 minutes left. Then he's out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Then he's going, but then he's making it happen in the city at what, noon tomorrow?
Back at noon. Back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Listen, it's like I'm an AAU coach all over again.
2 days.
2 days. Get the noon matchup, and you get the late night matchup. But coaches, pushing almost 48. 3 hours is a little too much for me at nighttime.
I think you get more. I think we get more out of Coach.
Yeah,
Coach. I mean, after college basketball, I mean, what goes on after there? A couple months off, relax.
Will you stop doing that? Will you stop doing that? No, he's just taking food out of.
I mean, we sleep in May. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah. And then all the way until March.
Yep.
We're continuing to follow.
We're not getting any threes here, but I mean, did we even? They did take. At least they took one. My goodness, man! Stop the madness.
We have 2.5 minutes left in this 2+3 bet at -140. We have 0 so far.
Yeah.
I told you I would have played the 0, but they don't hang the other side.
That actually would have been an interesting cheer. 4 minutes without a 3.
Yeah. A lot of interior, a lot of paint touching here. JY mentioned this race to 50, which is really interesting to watch right now. If anybody played that, it was almost pick 'em kind of moving around at some shops there. It's a 41-40 Oakland lead here, so we've got eyeballs on that. We are at the half at the Iowa State South Dakota State game there with a 13.5 point spread, so it dropped a bit. Live total 145.5. Gonzaga at the break up 48-25. They're laying 23.5. Live totals 150.5. It's right in line. Donnie, I'll kick it to you first on this Gonzaga game here. Any thoughts on a halftime look? I know this type of blowout can make things tricky. What do you think here?
It really does. And you also take a look at a team like Gonzaga that does control the basketball. So I don't know if you're going to get that run out of McNeese State where they say, we are a top 10 team at forcing turnovers. You're not going to get that out of Gonzaga specifically with Gonzaga up 20-plus points. So to be honest, I see that number at 150.5. And even though Gonzaga's 48 points at the break, I think that game probably tends a little bit more to the under because Gonzaga is going to shoot three-point shots, Kevin. But as you said, they're 8 of 11 in the first half, 72%. That's not going to happen in the second half. They'll probably cool off a little bit there. So maybe an under. I'm not going to bet it, but just a thought process on there. I think that might make some sense here. And what's going on with Colorado State, man? Down 12 now at this point. Come on.
Now we're sweating our plus 50.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Come on.
Now we're sweating this out.
Game was supposed to be 5-6 points with 3 minutes to go. Now sweating it out.
I thought there was going to be a foul game. Hit it 3, kid. Is that an assist?
Oh, that's a brick.
Yeah, how are you doing on your assist over there?
It's hard to hit an assist prop when no one on the
38
team
points.
getting shots.
I think he has 3 assists.
He has 3.
What's he need?
6. It's going to be, there could be, the thing is he's going to be doing a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
He's 3 of 15. That's
How many
good.
3-point shots? Just the 1?
1 of 6.
Wow. Yeah, so he's not even going to get the 2 or the 15 points in the second half. Tough scene.
Really?
Tough scene.
First triple. Oh, doesn't go down. Trey Mitchell there gave it a look. Didn't give it a lot, though.
Yeah, we're getting broke down.
This is one of the worst things I've ever bet in my entire life.
Yeah.
This game's also.
We didn't even get enjoyment out of it.
No, nothing.
You get like 30 seconds. You need one more. I mean, we're not going to get any of them. What was the 0 bet anyway? What was the
-800?
No.
There was no. They didn't hang. They don't hang no.
Oh, see.
I know. That's why. We would have bet the no. We would have gave it a whirl.
These guys are hitting 6-footers out here. What is this? 1940, coach? This is 1940?
That's that Bernard.
Come on, man. Did they take away the 3-point shot?
Yeah.
Jeez.
My goodness.
And you figure with the fact
Shoot
that they're playing zone, just pull it.
Oh, he's pulling it.
Pull it.
Oh.
In and out.
The best is you already knew he missed that.
I know. I was just trying to get in the feeling. I was just trying to get the vibes going.
Donnie knew we lost this bet 2 minutes ago.
Man.
That's unbelievable.
Didn't even make a single 3. So much for going up the ladder.
You know what? That worked.
Broke.
I got to be honest with you. That worked out. Like, I look at that as money made. Not money made, but not money lost.
But see, here's the funny thing. Now that you get the feel for that, I feel like maybe on a Friday night we're going to get loose on that in every game. Just 3-pointers all over the place.
Well, we got to find one where we're not paying such expensive. There's none.
Sanford tonight might make some sense.
We have 2-1s. What are we going to stay here until
you know what?
11:30
We did it before. We did it before.
Yeah,
we forced producers to stay late.
Yeah, we have. Coach, quickly, anything from you on this Gonzaga game at the break? Both teams would need to score 39 points or more to hit their updated team totals here in this game.
I mean, if you look at what McNeese State has shot, I mean they're shooting right now I mean, 1 for 9 from 3, 9 for 32 from the floor. I mean, we thought, we said the same thing about Colorado State.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't really happen for us. So this is a stay away game for me. I want to see at least the first couple of possessions here and see what I get. The one I'm looking at really is Iowa State, South Dakota State. It being a 7-point game at the break. What do we get the first couple of minutes here? You get the run, or do you get TJ with the halftime speech where he rips everyone and they go ahead and they go on a big run? Kind of what we were waiting for with Kentucky. Not yet. Maybe it's going to come now.
All right, Donnie, what do you think here? They posted it again.
For what?
In between 12 minutes
now,
and 8
come on now. Let's go. Come on now. Come on now. I'm invested. I don't even know. It's not even good handicaps, but I feel like I'm really invested
It's
right
down
now.
to minus 135.
Hold on, let me see. CBB Live Specials, where are we at?
Yeah.
All right, so we go 2 again. I'm going to go 2 again.
Yep. Coach.
Yes.
Coach, you
That's
can't
the way we
leave,
do it.
Coach.
Oh, no.
That's the way. This might be the greatest thing we've ever done. Tomorrow's show might just be 3-point shots made in 4
Here's one.
No, this does nothing for us. Miss again. Keep the misses.
Wait, why does it do anything for? What happened?
No, that 4-minute window we're not in. We have to get through this 4-minute window to access our new window. You understand?
When is our window, though? I just bet it. What do I even get now?
You guys plays bets even know what he's betting right now.
Listen. Sometimes we give you what makes a lot of sense, and then sometimes we let it go. No, we have to. It's between 11:59 and 8 minutes.
Oh, come on, because you know what happens here.
Yeah, they're going to bank.
I'm telling you. No. One team's got 46. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not going to tell you which team. I'm not going to tell you which team. So it doesn't even count? Come on, man. So give me again. What's the countdown again? So we got 14:56 on the clock.
Yep.
No, what do we have to wait for?
We got to wait for
under 12 minutes.
Yeah, 11:59 is the first second of action.
Okay, down to 8 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you know what?
All right, I'm in.
All right,
I'm in.
Here we go.
All right, I'm in.
You're going to make
my
jump in
goodness.
this.
All
right, I'm in.
This isn't right.
No, they're firing him, Donnie.
This isn't
Donnie.
This isn't right.
I didn't know that we could have looked for this with this window.
See, that's the shame of it too, because I feel like we burned it right now. But it's kind of funny because the best part about it, I just would have bet that if you didn't explain it to me.
You didn't go crazy.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Emailing them.
Oh,
like,
this
listen,
isn't
man,
good.
you guys
isn't
took
good.
money from me.
And now it's 14 points now in that Colorado State game.
I don't really understand, by the way, like 38. They are going to score less than Virginia did. I mean, this is nuts.
They can't. Come on now. This game was like a 6-point game a few minutes ago.
Yeah. I was hoping for a foul game. Like, Texas's offense is just taking off at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Is Isaiah
about a minute and a half
even
to
on
go?
the court? They're turning the ball over. Wow.
Yeah,
so this 15 and a half is going to be a sweat.
It's a sweat.
All right, so what is this? 2 plus made threes minus 135?
Yes, we're in.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic. We're 1-1 now technically because I count these last 2 threes. Moving on forward.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what it is? Is this kid came back in. This Jack Hochul.
Well, how many's you got now?
I don't know. Let me look. He's up to 8. Oh, he only made 1.
Well, there we go. Colorado State coach. I believe they. I don't want to. I splashed the pop in a good way. So you know what I mean.
We need a 3 here. We need
an assist. We need an assist.
I just bet the 3 here minus or plus 600. There you go. Got it. All right, boys. Let's go.
Foul.
No.
Foul.
Game's over.
Foul.
Walk off the court.
Keep playing. Last whistle.
Good
foul.
What do you got it over? What are they fouling for? What is this?
Hold on. You want to know what I'm rooting for?
What?
Texas over 63.5 team total. Can I root it in? I got a minute 10 here. Can we get 12 points?
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be a sweat down to the finish, man. That's not right. I can't believe we're fouling, Coach.
It's over.
I mean, where's the sportsmanship?
I know, right?
Donnie, at what point would you call it off if you were a coach?
I'm telling you, if I was a coach, we might be hacking away like 4.5 minutes down 20, to be honest. We're staying.
Pull the ball back and pull it with 4 minutes
We're
left.
staying out there,
like
boys.
in hockey, they pull the goalie early, right?
That's
like
a
they don't
smart move now.
they don't do that. Like college, or basketball, they've not adjusted to let the foul much earlier in the
They're
game.
going to keep fouling. You might get this too, because if Colorado State keeps scoring, how many times are they going to foul?
Well, no, a lot of it's linked up to the timeout, so no.
I got to tell you, man, I speak fluent Donnie Rightside. I've been doing this a long time. These free throws are cash, and CSU didn't stop yet. This is the free throw.
Donnie.
No, that free throw could be the one.
You got to go quick, Coach.
We get a
Coach,
score.
You got to go quick here.
We get a score. I think we're good.
Got to go quick.
Gosh.
Yeah,
great. That's an assist.
Can
this happen? Can this happen, people?
Has he got 5?
Does he have 4? He has 4, I think.
Kevin, they listen, he's going to foul because they obviously just stopped the clock. So they're going to foul again. Kevin, you may get this on like the greatest backdoor cover ever. 3 assists in the last, I don't know, 75 seconds.
To the rim.
What?
Get to the rim.
We'll go wild over it if it happens.
Now again, what are we waiting for in this Kentucky game? 12 under 12?
Let me just say this: you see a 3 go in at 12:01.
I'm counting. I don't even care. I'm counting it regardless.
No, does it go by when it's released or when does it go by in the basket?
When it's in the basket.
Yeah, basket.
Hopefully hits the rim like 5 times.
It's by the play-by-play.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Trust me, we know the answer. Nobody is more qualified than myself and Donnie about when 3s count and when they don't count.
Yeah, what was the show that
you used to do in Play Sports Tonight?
Oh, that was the best.
JY would call in and would be like,
we got to get
I'm driving.
Yeah.
What's going on with the 3x2? We'd be like, I don't think this is safe, JY. And then Donnie be like spoiling it. One went in, and JY was like, I just almost went off the road. I'm like, JY, stop it. I'll foul him.
They are. Look at this.
It's not ridiculous. Donnie, can you not?
Let me tell you something.
No.
If it's like 14 points with like 20 seconds and we're still fouling, I'm going to get angry.
Donnie, it's hard to see a world where Texas creates 6 of separation in the foul game. What's that math?
I don't know, but the math ain't adding up right now.
That's 2. Stop. That's 2 free throws, a miss, 2 more free throws, a miss, 2 more free throws, a miss.
Again, I'm not going to look right now. So let's just say he makes 2 free throws, and then Colorado State goes down and misses a shot. Are we fouling again?
I think it's done.
What are we doing?
I think it's done. I think if Colorado State,
I'm not going to watch. Yeah, because I need to watch this live. I'm covering my phone.
You don't even just lock it.
No. I might need to sneak a peek at it just in case.
This guy.
Just lock it. I don't know if you guys at home can see that he's covering it with his hand, but you can still see the light on it. Get this game down to under 11:59 already. All right, here comes CSU. Stevens with the drive. Can he kick? Can he kick?
Yeah.
Can he kick?
All right.
Is that it?
Should be a foul.
Oh.
Was? All right.
All right, so I mean...
that was a chance for a sizzle assist.
Did Oakland just hit another triple?
He just hit another triple.
He's got 9 triples.
Got 9 threes. 12 is the record for a tournament game.
What a game, man.
By the way, Coach, Geolocator saved you. Race to 50.
Yep. Thank God for that.
Golden Grizz.
Yeah.
Golden Grizz.
Oh. Race to 60?
What do we got, Joel?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Oh, no. See, I'm rooting for that to go in. Right? Or no?
It's
I think
12
for that to go in.
So we got a 3-point margin here.
Yeah, you need a make. You got to accept the fact that there's a foul coming. And then what do you be at?
Why would they still be fouling, though?
Yeah, because this game's not over yet. This game's not over yet.
Goodness.
Knock in there.
You're going to get the bench guy dropping a triple.
What's that sub?
That means no fouls. That means no fouls.
Keep it hot. We're back. Bracket Central.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like This is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to
Penn
find
State's
a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in. This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back right here, the final moments of myself and Donnie Rightside being joined by Coach James Young. Texas game is final. Jay, I just want to rip through this, and then let me know if any of these games you feel strongly about. Tennessee, St. Peter's, the 2-seeded Vols are laying over 20 against the Peacocks. Texas Tech laying about 4.5 to NC State. Kansas laying 6.5, 7.5 to Samford, and then Drake a slight favorite as a 10 against Washington State. 4 more games remain. Anything that you're really keyed on with those games?
I do like Drake. I think Drake gets it done versus Washington State. I do like that. I do like Texas Tech minus a point for NC State. NC State got on a really good run. We'll see if they have the momentum to keep it up. Grant McCaslin did such a great job at Texas Tech. I think they get the win in the cover.
There you go. All right, a lot of good stuff. We are about to enter the window, or we are in now the window for Kentucky, Colorado. Last question, but is there going to be a curse of Virginia where Colorado State couldn't score? Like, does next game Texas can Texas not score? Is that a possibility?
Who's that matchup here? So I actually had Texas winning that game.
Paying it forward.
Yeah.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Not at all.
How about a make free throw, miss free throw, rebound, and then a 3 for Kentucky? That would be a good way to start this.
That would be a great way to. Yeah,
So we got to 8 minutes here. So all right. So Oakland's going to start with that possession for us. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we're going to dial it in. Myself and Donnie have another hour, and then it'll be Sports Rage at night with Gabe Morency, Cam Stewart, and the whole crew. So SportsGrid's coverage of the NCAA tournament will be continuing here as I'm just checking if there's a game getting going on. Oh, that's the halftime returning of that Gonzaga game. Okay. As again, SportsGrid's coverage will continue. Definitely did. Oh, that's a triple that just went up. Missed it.
Of course. Now, of course.
Dudes hit 8 of them and didn't even hit air.
They showed an Iowa State, South Dakota. Like, in that screen, they did a game break.
Oh, my
goodness gracious. What is happening in
no more
game?
dunks.
Kentucky.
No more dunks from the three-point play.
It's true.
This is the one, man.
Now.
This is the one here.
Yeah.
Wildcats. Hey, JY, Cal loses this game.
Awfully so.
He goes to Louisville.
We say the same to JY. Myself and Donnie are back in less than a minute. Welcome in. Live right here on SportsGrid. It's Bracket Central. SportsGrid's coverage of the NCAA tournament. Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside. Appreciate Coach James Young with us here over the past 2 hours following the live action. What's in the balance right now? It's the 3-seeded Kentucky Wildcats trailing with under 10 minutes remaining against the Oakland Golden Grizz, the champions out of the Horizon League, a 14-seeded group, 55-52. With under 10 minutes left in this basketball game. We have 2 minutes to go for two made threes here as we gave this another crack. We missed our first. We weren't involved in the middle four. There's a lot of mid-range basketball being played all of a sudden. I'm not really sure what's going on here, Donnie.
No, so we're hoping for three-point shot attempts here because you can't make a three unless you attempt one. And by the way, the previous 4-minute marker bombs away from 3 points on both sides here. We'll see how it plays out. Oakland, again, a 5-point lead with under 10 minutes to go. It's no longer looking like a Cinderella team with Oakland. Looks like they can hang with Kentucky.
Yeah, certainly so. By the way, just to recap, an unfortunate loser on an Isaiah Stevens assist bet. Here's the thing. Got 4 assists in a game where they couldn't crack 50. That was 20 points plus south of their listed team total. Impossible to hit a bet when that happens. Colorado State continuing really what has been an embarrassing start here for the Mountain West. The Nevada collapse against Dayton. We'll see if they can pick it up. I don't believe we have any more Mountain West basketball tonight, but we certainly will have some still remaining within this tournament. And, again, we'll see New Mexico and San Diego State are going to have to attempt to carry that flag. Same with Utah State here. Yeah, defensive intensity is all of a sudden incredible. It's not
What
great.
is going on here on that?
It's not great.
I mean, come on now. I mean, again, I don't even know if we're even looking at 3-point shots even being attempted right now, so it's fun to try to cheer it on. So maybe chalking up another 3-point shot attempt. We should be betting the zeros left and right.
Well, again, it's not even an option, right? Like, there aren't winning options for us when we get out there. Gonzaga is a bucket away from being up 30 on McNeese.
Yeah.
The Gonzaga offense is doing everything I needed for this over.
Step back.
But McNeese is giving us absolutely nothing. Legitimately, one of the worst shots you can take in 2024 is what that kid just did. Bailed out by a foul, but that is atrocious basketball there. And Oakland could very well. Well, here's the thing, Donnie.
We went 8 minutes then without a 3-point shot made in our bets.
Yeah.
What is that about?
How many were realistic? I'm going to go and double check. How many were made in the window that we did not wager?
So I know we won.
Like, was it more than that? Was
Probably.
Let's see. Layup, 3. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Yeah, there was 3 of them. They came,
Rocket Watts.
They came in.
Wish he was on Michigan State today, I guess, huh? Come on, Rocket.
Man, Gonzaga is just absolutely smashing this team. I think DRS, because you look at the games that we have now, we're going to get some of Tennessee St. Peter's. Donnie and I can't bet that game live here in New Jersey. I actually did place at Tennessee as our radio audience is with us here. Sirius XM, Channel 159. Kevin Walsh with you.
What time does that game
Donnie Rightside. Probably going to be pushed back a bit. It was listed at 9:20.
Yeah. It's so funny because, again,
we're not going to get any of the other games.
When we're looking on this, it's like, okay, I don't even see that on like my marker board to even like try to handicap it, which is wild, which I would have loved to have taken St. Peter's team total to the under in that game.
If you are anywhere else.
Kentucky's not even going to win this game. What is that about?
Going to become the main thing for you and I to focus in on here is Kentucky. And if at any point this team is worth the live wager, we talk about they are a dog currently, the Kentucky Wildcats as well. They're a live dog. Now, okay, we are going to have to hit a refresh. Certainly.
Yeah.
They're still only making 2s. It's great. But that's fine. It is what it is. When this game hits its under 7 timeout, we're going to just because we are behind, so I don't want to. It's hard to do when we're so behind.
Yeah.
But man, it's not time, Don, to talk about firing Cal, but it will be if you and I are sat here and this ends up.
The team's way too tense. The team is again. There's no shame in losing at the Sweet 16 against a really good basketball team. We're not even saying Oakland's not a good basketball team, but Kentucky, the way they played this year in the SEC, lining up against Oakland, they should be making an easy run into the Sweet 16, and they're struggling against Oakland. You should have the talent level to blow the doors off of Oakland.
100%. And I know this team has not been able to defend throughout this year, but the offense, I feel like, is letting them down here on this night. I'm not saying the defense has been great, but the offense is letting them down a touch. And again, we talk about it though, right? They put themselves at a deficit entering a lot of these games because they don't play Rob and Reed in that starting lineup, and not playing both is always a bit confusing to me. It's going to be a charge there. So it's going to be Kentucky basketball with 7.5 minutes left. Minus 108 on Kentucky, Donnie's the number. 152.5 is the total.
Yeah. So basically the same thing. Like, as I have the 1 through 10.
Yeah, you're already on it.
It's essentially the same thing. So I'm still rooting for Kentucky to win this basketball game. But theoretically, it's actually good that they're still down, because if Kentucky would have made a run, let's just say they're up 4 points right now, then you start getting worried about that run that makes Kentucky win by double digits.
Yeah.
So I think they're in striking distance. But technically, I have a little bit better price than that minus 108. So
I'm going to, unfortunately, ask you one last time.
Three balls?
Yeah. Because it's the last 4 minutes of the game at minus 130.
But are we shooting threes at the end of the game, though?
Depends if they need it or not. Like, there could literally be 12 attempts.
But I think one team would be shooting the threes, though, as opposed to the other team maybe running the shot clock down.
Yes, but also just like, the shot profile, these teams still shoot threes 2 and 3. So, you can't rule that out.
How about McNeese and Gonzaga, though? Because you got one team, like McNeese is just going to be firing 3 after 3 after 3, and Gonzaga is going to get pressured into shooting wide open threes.
Can I throw? I don't want to start doing with all of them, though, truly, because it's just like it's throwing me off.
Yeah.
Race to 80 has a triple money line with Kentucky, Oakland, neither.
So either they get, nobody gets it
Yeah,
at all?
and neither is minus 125. 61.56 with 7.5 left. So it would be 19 for Oakland. It would be 24 for Kentucky.
I think Oakland would get there then if they win the game, because that's probably a foul fest in the last minute.
And Kentucky can get there because they can just get red hot.
Correct.
So I actually agree with you. You could play the other two. But if we're talking about that, so Donnie, I think we need to look at this live over with where this game sits. Kentucky in their pace.
Come on.
It's 152.5. I think that's the look.
Let's go.
Live here in this game as we kind of talk this through, right?
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm gonna
get some cheering here, and let's see if they can wind open. So I got 152.5, 61-56. If hopefully it's a close game.
How many points was that we need?
It's 6, so we have 117, and then 152.
So that's 35 and a half?
We're getting it. We're going to get that. Because I think it's going to be close. I think you might get that explosion in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah. No, I like your look there. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to get involved. What are you seeing in this Iowa State game here, Donnie?
Iowa State, is that another 3-ball by them? Yeah, pulling away. This is what you sort of expected here from Iowa State. It was kind of surprising that this game was a little bit touch and go with South Dakota State playing such good basketball. But Iowa State more impressive on the offensive end than defensive end for me so far in this game.
Yeah.
Which is good, because if Iowa State can score, they're going to be able to rely on the defense.
And again, Washington State's a good defense, so they're going to be challenged in that game. If they win, Drake is solid both sides. But also, if they advance and say they see Illinois, you're going to need to see them, score in that game. So I think 100%, Donnie. It's all a part of it. At the end of the day, people have been tweeting this out all week long, and I'm not saying it's balanced teams that win championships. Now, ultimately, DRS isn't trying to win the title, but if you know, you know. We're back to right here on Sports. We're making it happen. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like... This is a guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third...
They get in. This is
the
Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that lightning in a bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back to right here, SportsGrid's coverage of the NCAA tournament, the opening night of action here. A triple goes down for Oakland. I don't know. Yeah, there he goes. That's double-digit triples made there for Oakland. He's going to push for the record, man.
What's the record, 12?
12.
Wow, who made
12.
that? Was it Steph?
I think he might. 12? I don't know if he's tying or breaking, though, admittedly, there.
Yeah.
Steph probably has one of the games.
Right,
Antonio
triple.
Reeves answers in the corner, so a little open. By the way, anybody that was on the Antonio Reeves props with myself there, over 19.5 was certainly the sizzle that we needed. 67-65, we are on this live over. Donnie at 152.5. We're in commercial right now for the South Dakota State Iowa State game. Gonzaga is up $1 billion. Donnie, do you have right there just for me the live total in the Gonzaga game?
Live total in Gonzaga is currently 146.5 and a number of minus 23.5 for Gonzaga there.
It's around.
Yeah.
You know, maybe hindsight, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
I felt that part of the reason I liked the over was that McNeese was stepping up in class against Gonzaga.
Yeah.
It should have been a Gonzaga team total, which is going to be one of the easier bets of the tournament.
Yeah.
But that's hindsight. That's hindsight.
But let me ask you a question on this, too, because, the reason why I sort of backed off Kentucky is they're a great ball club. Their number was much better at like a 45 or 50 to 1 when it was a couple weeks ago. A lot of people betting Kentucky, that public favorite. So I sort of back off here. All I heard was before the tournament started, I don't care who McNeese lines up against, they're going to be a problem. That pressure defense is going to break them. When I saw the bracket get down to Gonzaga, people still were sticking with McNeese State, and I said, this is almost the opposite team. Like, Gonzaga's not going to be like, oh, my goodness, Kevin, we've never seen pressure. We're going to turn it over. As if, right, it was Gonzaga's first year in the tournament, and they're ready to step up. It was a good matchup for Gonzaga.
For me, this was the most, and we're always honest about it, this is the most I've ever paid attention to all the conference tournaments.
Yeah.
So it was the most aware I was of these teams before the bracket. A lot of people, we know this. The bracket comes out, and they learn who McNeese State is. They learn who JMU is. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
My point is, I heard everything that Donnie just said. Everybody said, man, wait for McNeese. McNeese is going to upset somebody.
Yes, correct.
And then they got a bad draw. That's the reaction.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see how it plays out for JMU. Playing a veteran-laden, battle-tested Wisconsin, who was just in the Big Ten championship game, is not the best draw you could have got.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they can't win the game.
Yeah.
But there were, funny enough, you bring up Kentucky, Donnie, but Kentucky is the perfect team for one of those excellent mid-majors to play. Oakland's a bad mid-major, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Yale is, if you look at a 13-seeded Yale, Yale is much better than an Oakland, but they're playing Auburn. Auburn hasn't lost to anybody outside of Quad 1 all year long. the matchups matter, and I think you're 100% right. I think a lot of people decided that McNeese State was winning 2 games in this tournament before they ever stared at the bracket.
Yeah.
And I think the tempting thing for a lot of people with that as well, just speaking bracket-wise, was how many people were looking to fade Kansas. And if you so you have Gonzaga or McNeese winning the 1,
yep.
Well, I got to play Sanford next round. And you just shoot them through it.
Or even if they beat Gonzaga, you're like, well, they could still beat Kansas because they beat a team that, again, granted, isn't an upper Power 5 school, but they really are. They're just, hiding out in the West Coast Conference. So I could see why they doubled down, which is why I doubled down on Gonzaga, because I thought they could win that second game against Kansas regardless. And it looks like they're in full control here. And they did cool down on 3-point shots here, 9 of 15. Where they were just absolutely incredible, 8 of 10 at the break. So
12 is the record. Carson Edwards was a name I certainly recognize up there from Purdue. So 12 would be the record. 11 would have him tie it. Off the bench, Donnie.
Yeah.
Again, I know he's one of their main guys, but I think here's the tough thing. This is why
that's a walk.
This is why you see upsets that you never could see coming.
What a foul!
Is if this kid was having an average night, Kentucky's up 20 points.
Correct.
He is at the moment, he's got 30 points on the board. He averages about 12 a game. The rest of this team he's got almost half their points. The rest of the team's not living up to their billing, but it doesn't matter when a kid has a historic game. I'd love to see the records, Donnie, of the other guys that have hit double digit. I think it says he's now the 5th player to have a double-digit 3 game. Would you imagine the other guys are 4-0?
Yes.
3,
who's knocking down 10-plus triples and your team's losing a game?
Right. 100%. Iowa State, just at distance now, South Dakota State.
Yeah.
I thought the 7 looked dangerous at the break. I really did. But they extended. I mean, they're going to score. I mean, what would you say, Donnie? 75 is a floor? With that triple going down? I mean, they could very well hit 80 in this basketball game, Iowa State.
Yeah. What was the total you got in that one?
135.5.
So 149.5. So you're dealing with roughly 15 or so points in that, which is nice. So
yeah.
And also now you're at that stage where South Dakota State is just going to try to go breakneck speed to try to make up some possessions here, and we'll see if it comes in. 3 ball up.
It's funny with Will Wade though, Donnie, is I wonder if this result impacts anything about his decisions, where he's like, no, get me out of here. It's like I can't.
He's not staying at McNeese.
But even more so, like, get me out, because this can't become the thing. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we got here, and then this is what happens.
Correct.
Like, let me cash in now.
Most people didn't really know who McNeese is. Look what I did. I brought us to the tournament. Now it's time to bounce real quick, and then McNeese probably goes back to winning barely any basketball games next year.
Yeah. I mean, that's how those things go.
Tough scene out there. Gonzaga running wild, 66-37. Never imagined it was going to be that big of a blowout.
No, I could. The lack of McNeese scoring. So this is one of the things with again, everyone knows what KenPom is. It updates after every single game. It doesn't stop when the tournament begins. The Gonzaga defense is going to move at least 6 spots off this result.
Probably.
Least. Like all of a sudden, it'll be a top 40 defense.
Yeah.
I think it was 45 entering this game.
We got to get this Kentucky game back up on the
screen.
67-65, under 4 minutes here.
What's
so
the live
we're going to get a sprint.
odds?
152.5 is the total, and the number now is Kentucky plus 1.5, and the money line of plus 110, which is pretty enticing at that point.
You already have technique. Like if they win by 11, that's the craziest thing of all
they're
time.
not going to do that. I don't think so.
If they won by 11, that means the game went to overtime, right?
Correct.
Like, I think that's realistically the only world.
Yes, where they run out 2 quick threes, get up 6-0, and then it's helter-skelter. Exactly.
Those are always those.
Oh, no wonder. Because I think
a bucket comes here?
I don't think a bucket comes here, but at the free throw line. Yeah, that's what it was. That's why those plus 110. Because I was looking at it going like 2-point game plus 110 doesn't compute, but that's why.
So a couple of free throws for Oakland. The first is good. That'll put them up 3. Again, these other games are, non-competitive.
Out of hand. Yeah.
Iowa State, and this isn't. See, these are the little things for me that I find impressive. Is most people will be like, oh, come on, South Dakota State, who cares?
Yeah.
There was a moment where that looked like that could be scary. It really did. That halftime box score, that dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're back up 20. Offense is fine. That's a big part of it, man. That's the worry with a team.
And even bouncing back at fourth, too, because that game was teetering that 8 points, 12 points. Now they have that, 66-49. So trying to build that one back up. We'll see if they hang around. Just saw a terrible turnover by Kentucky right there. Unforced error.
Yeah, so now up 4, under 4
yeah.
for Oakland here. What is the foul situation? The Kentucky one isn't there at the bottom. It says Oakland. Oh, so Oakland's in the double bonus, so they remove that. And what it's 5 fouls on the three-point shooter.
Shot. Yeah, that's probably going to do it at this point.
This kid, too. So they have such an ability to score, Donnie, I would say, Kentucky, that I can't call it. Even if this should be 7, you'd assume 3 free throws from a kid that's shooting 90%.
Kentucky lost to Oakland.
Oakland's not good. Outside the top 100 on both sides of the ball. Like, usually you look for those lower levels, Donnie, that does something really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Western Kentucky caught my eye. They're the fastest team in college basketball. Oakland doesn't do anything well. They're, balanced at their mid-major level.
This might be good for the total, though, Kevin.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. A couple of free ones, scoring with the clock not moving.
Yep.
And Kentucky can't give up because a lot of questions in Lexington. This goes left. We'll be right back from here on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in. This is
the
Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All All right, back to right here on SportsGrid. It's intense coverage now here with about 35 minutes for us until we'll pass it over to Sports Rage, Gabe Morency, Cam Stewart. We got a pair of free throws to go down.
Foul. We're in foul now.
We certainly are. Kentucky's in the single bonus. Oakland in the double bonus. 4-point game as the Horizon champions are up here with about a minute to play over the 3-seeded Kentucky Wildcats here.
Don't settle.
Couldn't agree more, Donnie. And Dillingham.
Oh, my
this kid's
goodness.
a star, man.
Oh,
my
goodness.
He's nuts, but he's great. Now let's get points.
Can we get Kentucky
what do we need
with a
four?
win?
Yeah, please, Don. Let's be greedy, brother.
Let's get some points.
Let's be greedy, brother.
Now stop wasting the time.
All right, now we're defending.
Wait,
he's dying to foul him, Rob, though. It's too much.
Doesn't the clock stop on the inbound, though?
You know what? Did it not stop?
No.
Now that would be bad. Of course it would stop on the inbound. That would be bad. Now that would be bad. Here's the thing.
Oh, come on.
We're guaranteed a foul game here. Oakland ultimately
Foul him. He fouled him.
Terrible.
Free ball.
Terrible possession.
Oh!
Nails a triple, though.
He's going to get one.
This game's at 152. It's
good.
a
The foul
4-point
game is in.
And the shot
Kentucky's
clock's
got to go
off.
quick. Good. Okay. All right.
So if you bet the live over,
yeah,
nothing's a guarantee. But here's what you have.
I got 53 and a half. You got what?
I actually got 150 and a half.
So you won already.
Yeah. Here's what you have. If you have, let's use one. I thought you had 152 and a half. I believe you have 152 and a half. Double check. Let's go off 152 and a half. I think that's where a lot of you got in with Donnie, and where I tried to get
152 and a half. Yes, correct. Yeah.
The game's at 152. Here's what you have: a Kentucky possession, score, cash,
quick,
right? And you could foul if you wanted. You probably won't, but you could if you wanted. Okay.
Yeah.
If that doesn't go in, immediate foul, double bonus.
Correct.
You need a split.
Yep.
If they miss both, Kentucky's going fast.
Yes.
If they miss that, you would still have enough time for Kentucky to foul.
Yeah.
So you would need 4 empty possessions to not get this singular point, which feels great. Here's the new situation. The pregame over is in the air. Believe it or not, under 30 seconds to play, you absolutely could get your $160. If you're a Kentucky fan, what are you rooting for here, Donnie? Is it a 3? Is it a quick 2? This team's in the double bonus. How are you playing it?
You can theoretically, you can, unless you just have your point guard and the defense goes, we're not fouling, and I can just dribble right to the rim and lay it in. You got to take the 3-point shot because it is double bonus. If it was not double bonus, you get to the rim, you try to get 2 and say, miss the front end, now we can be in control. But you're in such a deficit here with that double bonus for Oakland that I think you got to shoot a 3-point shot, again, unless they're just giving you a pathway and saying, lay it up, we're not going to foul you here.
I think the tough thing as well is like with the double bonus, even if they make 1, it's a 3-point game, and they
we're slowing it up the court, too.
Yeah, Kentucky moving with that type of pace as Reed Shepherd forces up an awful 3, and it's going to be a free throw here. Ball rebounded. Is that Townsend? He's their lead scorer. So obviously
Oakland's going to beat Kentucky.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. I placed a wager on Kentucky to make the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
and one of the top premises of that is that, by the way, JY comes on Game Time, right? Like, for the last 3 months, and once a week tells me how good Kentucky is.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, I'm a Kentucky fan in terms of college basketball. I tell him every single time, I go, JY, I don't trust him.
Yes, correct.
I don't trust him.
It's always been the thing.
But this was the matchup, Donnie. Oakland has no business hanging with Kentucky.
None.
Zero. On a neutral court, 13-point favorite. Yep. I know we see upsets all the time. I know we do. This was not just...
Look at the fans.
This was a Kentucky team that has not made it out of the first weekend in ages.
80% free throw shooter, by the way.
Yeah.
Need 1.
Need 1. With a double bonus,
Correct.
You're in a glorious spot.
Mm-hmm.
And look, don't be surprised when Kentucky comes down and hits that 3 on the next possession. Don't be.
Terrible possession on that last one. Shepard just pulls up from
it certainly couldn't
God range at this point.
When front end's the first.
But see, this is the double bonus, though. That's the key.
It is. It is.
Now, in what world does Kentucky go down, shoot a 3, miss it, shoot 1, miss it, get rebounds?
Yeah. So offensive rebounds are killers. It goes in, the 152.5.
I actually would have enjoyed the sweat if that missed, to be honest. Now, let's here we go again. We're going to take a lot of time.
You know what's funny, Donnie, is the 2 made 3s in the last 4 minutes thing did hit because Kentucky shot them all. It'll stay with Kentucky, but it doesn't matter. Wow. They're going to lose. They are going to lose.
You know what the funny part, too, is we were sort of saying we should get a huge final 2 minutes. Now, they hit a couple big three-point shots, but at the same time, you didn't really get any of the fouls that we expected. Like, hey, go back and forth, make a layup foul, make a layup foul. None of that stuff here. Now we go to the desk for a 20-minute review on a clearly out of bounds on somebody. All right, there you go.
This is as bad as it gets, man.
Why?
For Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that, like, Donnie, when you're working the NBA draft show in June, and you're breaking down, I caught him there. Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepard are both going to go in the lottery. So you're going to, all right, so they had 2 lottery picks. And then they had Antonio Reeves, who's a senior. Trey Mitchell's a senior. DJ Wagner was a 5-star.
Number 1 over recruit.
Justin Edwards was a 5-star. Aaron Bradshaw was, I think, a 5-star.
Yep.
Like, Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepard, who obviously were both great recruits, neither one of them were in the top 3 of the recruits.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a deep basketball team. This is a team that closed out the SEC regular season, would win at
clearly
Tennessee.
What are we reviewing here?
I don't know. At Tennessee. And for Cal, who had some low points this year, was able to get out of them.
Yeah.
Slaughtered Alabama at home. Won at Auburn, Donnie. Beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
This team has proven they can beat. I'll tell you this, they play tomorrow. They might beat Houston. They might beat UConn.
But it's 6 games you got to win in the tournament, and that's always been the issue.
But it's recently, Donnie, Ben, they can't win one. They last year won a game, lost to K-State. They were the higher seed.
Yeah.
And the year prior were eliminated by St. Peter's in round 1. Like, DRS, this is Purdue. You know, and we talk about Painter all the time in a negative way. I'd say, it's not going to happen. Purdue loses tomorrow, they probably fire Matt Painter, but it's not going to happen. But for Cal, who's been there forever, and a coach who, look, just by nature, kind of being a Kentucky fan, I respect, I like, I buy what Cal sells.
Yeah.
I really think he does love every single kid he coaches. I think to a degree he does care more about putting them in the NBA. But that isn't what Kentucky basketball is supposed to be based on. This is a blue blood. This is a blue blood program.
Correct.
Duke has NBA players, Kansas has NBA players, but they also have won national championships more recently. North Carolina the same.
Yeah.
Kentucky is supposed to be on that level, and they've not won it since Anthony Davis was there, and a number of years. It looked like they had teams that were equipped to make runs.
Yep.
No worse than the platoon squad. Cat, Devin Booker, the Harrison twins. Best college team I've potentially ever seen. I think that's nuts. I don't really care. That's how good I thought they were. I blame all of that on Cal, letting that Frank Kaminsky Wisconsin team for taking them out. But they did.
What's Cal going to say at the post-game press conference? What do you want him to do? This kid was making 3-point shots all over the place.
That's the problem is he's consistently beaten by teams that are not as good as the one he has. Look, and by the way, if you're Oakland, you take number 4 right now, Donnie, and you tell him to run to the opposite free throw line, throw a touchdown pass.
Yep.
Rob switched. They fixed the coverage.
Nope, there you go.
He still did it.
Nope, missed them. All right, so they're going to go to the free throw line, so Adam tack on some points. By the way, Tennessee is underway now against St. Peter's, 7-0 early. Tennessee, 3 minutes in. This is the struggle for St. Peter's, who, again, I joked that I think there might be a legitimate chance that they have single digits by the break. We'll see if it holds up.
I will let people know I ended up, because people always want to know, hey, what'd you do with your bracket? It's interesting, but the more we do this, the more the brackets can be difficult, Donnie, because we have futures and things like that.
Yep.
I ended up doing something it was too gimmicky, and I shouldn't have done it, but I put 4 SEC teams in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Which, you know what that means. I just lost one.
Correct.
So that is what you call a busted bracket. I will need to get the final perfect with the champion correct to have any chance
because I had Kentucky in the
champion.
Sweet 16. I had them beating Texas Tech in the next round, but then losing to Marquette. At least I didn't get slippery and be like, hey, you know what? We're going to knock off Marquette because we don't know the extent of any injuries for Kolek here. But that's an unbelievable. Like Kentucky, is a professional basketball team the way their fans treat them.
Yeah.
Like, they don't treat them like, hey,
They have
let's
nothing
go,
else.
Johnny, go. Let's win this game. That is their professional team. And for Cal, who's supposed to be one of the best coaches in college basketball, the results just aren't there. Like, you can't, hey, look, we do things differently. Maybe you got to do things different now. You got to hit the transfer portal. You got to stop chasing one-and-dones. What do you do with Kentucky?
So I think that's really interesting is what do you do with the one-and-dones?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got an update before we went live. You'll love this. We could do this on Monday if you want,
Mm-hmm.
money line. G League Ignite is getting canceled.
I did see that, and it's a very good move.
It is much healthier for the NBA's product if these kids go to college.
Correct.
Because for a while I was like, look, they can't make the money. The reality is nobody knows who Ron Holland is. Nobody knows
idea.
who Matisse Buzelis is.
Nope.
Nor should you. You're not watching their games. Nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also hurt down to the caliber of one-and-dones. You know? Again, like the top prospect, Isaiah Collier, going to USC.
Yeah.
That doesn't move the knee. You know, like Dalton Connect has been so good in college this year. He's going to get himself in the lottery.
Yeah.
You know a player like Dalton Connect usually used to struggle to go in first round.
Correct.
So I think the nature of one-and-dones is interesting. But, yeah, it's time to start putting maybe some money to some proven guys. Interesting stuff. We'll be right back here for this coverage around at 64.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to
Penn
find
State's
a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But
Right.
if we make them a third,
They get in.
third,
This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to be
rule.
better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
back here on SportsGrid. Me being a Kentucky fan is not as known as like the Eagles or LeBron's.
Didn't know that till tonight.
Yeah, because it's not like the same level, and a lot of it is tied to like the NBA success.
Yeah.
It's very Calipari-esque, but it does it bothers me when it looks like that. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a little bit of an annoyed mood for the remaining 20. And I mentioned this to Donnie, and Donnie, I'd rather let you expand on it here, but all-time great coaches, Coach K, Roy Williams, of this era, Bill Self, right? These Blue Bloods, they don't get put on the hot seat. And here Cal is again on the hot seat. This isn't how it's supposed to go.
No, it's not, and especially in this day and age with social media. Like Coach K always brings up, like he struggled to start at Duke before he got Danny Ferry on that basketball team in the early 80s, and they started to win basketball games. But that was before Duke was actually Duke. Like Kentucky has always been Kentucky.
Yeah.
There is a level that you expect from Coach Cal at Kentucky, because also this isn't the fact that you're saying to yourself, Coach Cal as the recruiter, he's always going to get those players at Kentucky. Yeah. But now you say, well, how can you have year after year after year, let's just say top 5 recruiting classes, multiple NBA picks, lottery picks here? And it's one thing, Kevin, if you're like, look, it's hard to win 6 games. We've been to the Final Four 4 times in the past 6 years, the championship game 3 times. We just can't get over the hump. One day we'll do it. And Kentucky fans will be like, you know what? It's really unacceptable, but we enjoy good basketball, which means we're making deep runs. When you are Coach Cal with that roster getting knocked off by Oakland, and quite frankly, watching that basketball game, if you didn't know basketball, you'd be like, it's a pretty even matchup between these two teams, man. Talent level's right there, and it's not. So, yes, this loss looming for Kentucky is massive because they sort of were that it team heading down the stretch, and they're already out.
What a great point, though. Duquesne upset BYU today.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 14, 17-point lead.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of times, a necessary requirement for an upset like this is that double-digit lead.
Yeah.
Where, the other team's like, oh, man, it's going to be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Game was close the whole way.
Correct.
They played a close 40 with UK, and it didn't phase them one bit.
Nope.
I'm trying to do some math here on my Gonzaga-McNeese total. 83-58. Am I right? That's 141?
Yes.
I need 9 and 234. 9 and 234. Tennessee St. Peter's is underway, DRS. What do you like here? You mentioned
team total under.
Right.
I thought it made a lot of sense here. And you're on pace for 20 points in the first half for St. Peter's. So, yes.
Yeah.
This game was actually 7-0 around the 17-minute mark. So, St. Peter's real hot over the past couple minutes getting the 5 points. I just don't see St. Peter's having the firepower to hang around, because the things that are tough is you stink on offense, you're slow on offense, and you turn the basketball over. That's not a good matchup against a better team, obviously, in Tennessee here, so we'll see.
I played a Tennessee national title future today. I'll talk about that a little bit, and then, Donnie, I want your thoughts on them because I know they were someone you'd considered. But Rick Barnes has the Matt Painter, right, kind of, can't trust him in the tournament.
Correct.
But it is relative. I was looking it up, but, with when he's I think it's a 2-setter, he's never missed the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And he's made a few runs. He's been to a Final Four before.
Sure.
I think again, sometimes we want to lump coaches in together, right? Like I saw people lump Mark Few in with Matt Painter. I was like, that is a disgrace and outrageous to what Mark Few's accomplished at this level. And I think to some degree that's happened to Rick Barnes. Tennessee had 3 bad games in Maui, and you will, I quote tweeted it today. Find a tweet from me after their loss to Kansas. Say, hey, anyone who has Tennessee futures, you can light those on fire.
Yeah,
because it looked awful in that game. And they followed that up by leaving Maui and giving up 100 points to North Carolina. And, in that moment, it's like, man, this team is legitimately fraudulent. And they found a level in what, again, for me, was at minimum as good of a conference as any in college basketball that was remarkable. This team has the 3rd best defense in the country while being inside the top 100 in tempo. Last year, they had the number 1 defense in college basketball, but they were nearly 300th in tempo. I think it was 288. The fact that they can play fast, the fact that they can score, and the fact that they have such a go-to guy.
Correct.
I mean, R.J. Davis, Zach Edey can score it. You know what? So I'm going to let me not slander Zach Edey. I mean, Dalton Knecht, that's your big 3 in college basketball. St. Peter's is breaking necks back there. Man. I know. I like what Tennessee has, and more importantly, I like their draw. I don't love this Texas team.
Yeah.
I don't love this Creighton team. I think Purdue is obviously very good. I think Gonzaga is very good. If I get to the Final Four, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But I expect this team to, at minimum, be in the Elite 8, and got to see what happens from there, Donnie. So I played him today. It was a 17-1. I put a boost on it. if we're going to, full honesty, right, I get $100 to put on mine. Donnie giving the 10. So I was able to play that at better than 22-1, which I'm excited about. So I jumped on Tennessee today, Donnie.
Yeah, and that makes some sense. I have them getting past, obviously, St. Peter's, and also I thought Colorado State would beat Texas, but also I thought Tennessee would beat whoever they played in that matchup. But I did pick some upsets in here, which is Creighton as the 3 seed going up against Tennessee as the 2 seed moving on there. Quite frankly, my Final Four only has one top seed, and that is Houston. I have Creighton, Iowa State, and Baylor. 2 seed, 3 seed, 1 seed, and 3 seed overall. So I like where you're going with Tennessee, though, because I tried to structure it, and mainly because I look at those teams like Iowa State and Houston, 1 and 2 overall in defense. If my offense isn't there for the basketball game, I know I can lean on incredible defense, and Tennessee can do that. But you're also right for your point where sometimes it's nice to say in a close game, which you will have multiple times against upper-level competition, I know who my superstar is, and he can get buckets at any time he wants, and that's a nice thing to have.
And he's had incredible performances against top teams, and they've beaten all the best in the SEC.
Yeah.
They beat Auburn and covered. They won at Rupp. They won at Bama. They checked every box.
Yeah.
And, they won at South Carolina. I know they lost at home to that team, but they got that one back as well.
Yep.
So that's the final one for me. I don't really know if I have enough breathing room to really kind of do anything else from there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with the field. I got another free throw coming, and then I will need 2 more points, Donnie, with 58.6 to go in Gonzaga-McNeese, which is going to likely be 1 Gonzaga possession, 1 McNeese possession, and then potentially the clock gets
what's
ran
the
out.
total you need?
150 to win.
150 to win.
It's 149.5, so I need 150.
So I got 83-65 right now.
That's what I have as well.
Okay.
With McNeese having the ball. The worry is this could be the last possession. Gonzaga is probably going to be able to dribble this out.
Yeah.
If let's see.
Are you watching the game?
Yeah, I got it on. I got it on here. So Gonzaga has about 3 seconds of separation right now.
I got 84-65 right now.
That means someone got fouled, so I need 2 free throws to go. That also means they played, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
With 19.6 on the other side. Did he split the pair?
I don't know. I got 8 seconds, 86-65 right now.
86?
It's got you, right?
Yeah, but how did that happen?
I don't know.
That means that he missed the second and they got an offensive rebound. And put
I got 86-65, 6 seconds left to go.
That's interesting. I'm excited to see how this plays out here. But if so, that will be the overs coming in the South Dakota State Iowa State game. Jump through the moon here.
Unless a guy like me that was inputting scores wrong, it would be terrible.
Yeah, they got the offensive rebound. How about this? Offensive rebound, missed it,
and a
kid skied in and got a putback dunk poster.
That's the
and the game gets 151. So
way to get things done.
A 21-point win for Gonzaga. McNeese did cover the live number.
Yeah.
And I believe actually got over their team total as well. Gonzaga might have missed their team total by the hook. McNeese also dribbled it out. So that actually ended up being, all in all, I think a decent enough window there, which I'm pleased with. Donnie, let's just rip through these other games that are coming up here, and then we'll close it out. I'll just go quick. Texas Tech and NC State. You doing anything with that game?
I didn't have any, just in my brackets here, obviously it was Texas Tech, but I didn't look at that game and say, boy, I got to jump on one side. It's interesting to see NC State 5 straight wins. How does that hold up? I love, the same way you like the SEC, I love the Big 12 this year, so that was part of me going on Texas Tech as well. But no straight wagers on this year.
I laid 4.5 with Texas Tech. I figure, Donnie, you've talked a lot about wanting to fade the ACC, right?
Yes.
But if you think about it, everyone's going to fade Virginia. We know that, right?
Yeah.
And Clemson's getting targeted in a heavy way. Not a lot of value there because everyone loves New Mexico. And North Carolina and Duke are not what you're talking about when you talk about fading them. So fade the ACC team that really doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
NC State's not even a bubble team. NC State
a lot of money. NC State.
And, yeah, I know with the North Carolina ACC tournament. But this team in out of conference on it played BYU, caught 6.5, lost by 9. They played Tennessee, getting 9.5. They lost by 9, and they played Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And they lost by 20 points in that game. That was their out of conference.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that right there spoke to the gap for the ACC, and I'm going to fade NC State here at 4.5.
That makes some sense. I mean, again, I don't like the ACC, and it's a team that won 5 games in a row. I have no idea how they did it, unless you're just saying it's been a weak ACC, and they wind up in here. But I love the Big 12, so looking at Texas Tech. By the way, that game coming up here, also Samford and Kansas.
Yeah.
7.5-point number here, total 153.5. If the guys have the graphic in the background, took a juiced-up parlay here. It's actually a plus 425. But it does have a 50% boost on that 425. But I wanted to put the honest odds up there if anybody wasn't able to get the boost at 365. I took Jaden Campbell over 1.5 3-point shots made and Rylan Jones over 1.5 3-point shots made, along with Samford at plus 10.5 against Kansas. Okay. That team shoots the lights out from 3-point range for obviously for Samford. And if they're going right, and also here's some of the matchups that you take a look at. Just, breezing over Ken Palm, a team that's top 10 in the country at 39% as a team shooting. But also keep in mind, Kansas, who does have a good defense, Kevin, 304 in the nation at chasing you off the 3-point line. The 3-point shot is going to be there. If Samford's making it, they'll be in the ball game. I'm not trusting Kansas a lot. And I took basically the 2 best 3-point shooters to make 2 apiece here in this game. I think it makes some sense. Hopefully, try to cash in some tickets there.
It makes sense. I did line up an under, though, for the overall game at 153.5. Samford 6-0 to the under as a dog on the year, which, makes sense. When you're able to run through your conference and dominate in that way, it's a little bit different. Things can get a little bit tenser when you're in a bigger game. And I think if you're Kansas, slow this down, grind on this team. It's kind of funny with the way this game's being talked about. They're still a 7.5-point favorite. Yeah. And I think you're going to be able to see Kansas. Again, I think they're going to play slower. They're not a super slow team. They're a very good defense. I think they'll slow it down a little bit in the absence of McCullough here. And I'm going to play this under the 153.5. I couldn't get there on Drake Washington State. I advanced Drake.
Is it too public, Drake? Is it too public?
I advanced Drake in the bracket. I don't like anything about.
I picked Washington State. There's nothing that stands out in this game to me overall. It's the same thing with me with NC State and Texas Tech. Just a blah game. I'm actually really looking forward. Again, I'll be driving home through most of that game. I'll catch the end of it. Kansas Samford. I honestly want to watch that game because I want to see if Kansas just completely got washed out at the end of the season, if they have any heart to come to play tonight, because does this turn into a game where it feels like Kentucky going up against Oakland?
But let me ask you this. Kansas by, just pretend you didn't have the parlay for a minute.
Yeah.
Pretend you didn't have it.
Yep.
Kansas by 15. Get that deflated line with Gonzaga. Game around pick. Isn't that something that you could really see yourself being interested in?
For Gonzaga?
With Gonzaga, Kansas in that next
No, it's true.
round.
And you'll get that public look at it where it's like, maybe Kansas is back. They're okay. They're good. Yeah. No, I did. And regardless, I already picked, Gonzaga to move through, and I did pick Kansas to win this game. I mean, it's still going on chalk there. I don't really know much about Samford other than the statistics, and they do match up well. But it's really hard to say to yourself, Kansas is going to bounce back, because even in the Big 12 tournament, I took Kansas against Cincinnati, even without the 2 best players, going like, come on, man. It's blue blood. Everybody's buying in. Cincinnati's not that good. They beat the heck out of them.
They smoked
man. Bearcats killed them.
They absolutely did. But Hunter Dickinson did miss that game.
Yep.
Which changes it a bit. Tennessee's up big, man.
Yeah.
Tennessee is up big. St. Peter's does not have a lot of points. We'll close it out. Sports takes control.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is a guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to
Penn
find
State's
a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But
Right.
if we make them a third,
They get in.
Third,
This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to be
rule.
better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Primetime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside. We'll close it out in style. How about this? I got this text from Joe Lisi, who's a big part of our coverage this weekend.
Thanks, Joe.
Root this in. Gonzaga minus 6.5. He's celebrating already. The under 146.5 in NC State, Texas Tech, and Clemson money line. You can't be telling me rooted in with one of the games tomorrow. Am I wrong?
I don't. Does he even know? Does Joe watch college basketball? What happened?
He's locked in, baby. He's locked in for March.
Now, some are saying Saturday night the tickets are going to be flying around the studio in here from 4 to 8 p.m.
It's going to be good. You guys are going to be coming up. You, Ben, and Donnie. You, Ben, and Lisi. Maybe 3 Donnies. Who knows? Right after myself, Scott, and Coach, which I'm excited about. Quickly, DRS, tell me if any of these games, early games, catch your eye.
Yeah.
FAU Northwestern, Baylor Colgate, San Diego State UAB, Marquette Western Kentucky, UConn makes that debut against Stetson. That's kind of that early-ish window there.
I do. By the way, I do have a small ticket already that I placed a couple days ago. Western Kentucky plus 14.5 points, just because I don't know how Tyler Kolek is going to be. Let's just say he misses the game. Well, fantastic, plus 14.5. But if he does play, he hasn't played for a while. So it's not as if I don't think you're getting like the Big East Player of the Year type player back right away, which might hurt their offense a little bit. Am I looking for Marquette to lose either way? No, I'm not. But close to 15 points, I'm going to take those points.
A lot of 1 seeds in action. New Mexico, Clemson, Auburn, Yale tomorrow, Florida, Colorado.
Who's our games? What do we got tomorrow night?
Tomorrow, for myself and Donnie, we're live 6 to 10 again. We go Nebraska A&M at an 8-9.
Yep.
Duke Vermont at 7.
I like it.
A lot of eyeballs.
Yep.
Purdue Grambling.
Wow.
We got the Purdue game. And then Bama Charleston.
Oh, that's good.
We'll catch the very beginning of Houston Longwood.
Yeah.
I like Bama. You like Bama at all?
No, Bama's going to get wasted in round 2.
What are you going to do if Grant Canyon beats them?
I'd probably not show up to work anymore, but I would get a St. Mary. You saw Tupac wearing the St. Mary's jersey. I might have to get that jersey.
If they're eliminated or if they go on a run, or either
I mean,
way.
both. We might just be angry.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense there. It's been a night. It's been a blast. And we'll do it again tomorrow right here on SportsGrid. Game rent and the live coverage of the NCAA tournament next.